So, in terms of UVs, carrying on with our UV basics, one of the tools I use the most is the Unfold tool. This is an absolutely brilliant tool, and this has improved so much in the last version or so of Maya as well. You can still access the legacy version of it. If I shift click on this, we can go into the legacy version, but this new Unfold 3D is really useful now, really good. So let's go into this. Just as a quick example, just to show you what it does, we've looked at this before where we have this layout for our cylinder. And if I just go onto this, and actually I've got a texture on this, press 6, we can see that this isn't really working on here. It's actually stretching this out over the surface of this model. So I'm just going to go in and just put a seam in this because there isn't one at the minute. So just on one of these edges, let's go in and we can cut that. And I'm going to grab this UV shell and just going to go in and unfold. And what that does is create a really nice, even UV shell there. It separates all these, or spreads them apart basically, averages them out so it works as the right aspect ratio for this. So we've done that before with the cylindrical projection, but this will just do it. And don't worry about it being at an angle there. I'll look at that in another tutorial. Just note for now that that's what the unfold does. Just unfolds it all out. So it averages it out based on the original geometry. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in, I'm going to use something more complex than this, just to give you an example. So let's go in my channel box. Let's just hide this cylinder. Let's just do something like this glass. So with this, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to duplicate this. And with the duplicate, I'm just going to remove from my layer, just so I can hide that. I'll work on that for another tutorial. So I need to go in and split some of this apart. So I'm just going to work on one section of this really, which is just this part around here. So just the actual glass part. So I'm going to go in with my edges. I'm just going to grab this edge. Grab. So just shift double clicking on those two. And what I'll do with those is I'm just going to cut those out. Let's just grab one of those UVs, and it may be better doing this. Ignore that. Maybe best doing this here, so let's grab UVs there, double click on that. Should give me that UV shell. Let's just move that out of the way, and let's just grab these. Okay. Again, to work with this, because this is a thing with the unfold, it's brilliant, but it doesn't work magic. We have to give it a bit of guidance. So for example, if I just try to unfold this, actually I must have had a cut in there because it has done it. Yep, you can see that's where the cut is there. Let's see if I can just break this. So let's go into my planar. Excuse me, a bit of a cold. Grab this and go into edges. So again, I'm going to just grab this one. Let's shift double click on this one. And let's just go in and cut these. So just shift right click in there to cut that out. And let's grab those UVs and just move them out of the way. Let's move these out of the way. So let's grab those, and you see this time there's no seam through this vertically. So unfold, and it kind of does it as if it's doing it from the bottom. It has a go at it, but you can see with the actual UVs there, it isn't very good. It's basically doing it almost like from the bottom upwards. See on this is a hole down here, and this is working up through the actual glass itself, so it will have a good go, but we need to give it a bit more information to go by. So what I'll do on this is I'm just going to go into my edge mode. If I just double click on one of these edges to get this set of edges here, and let's shift right click on that and let's cut. Double click on the UV island, and I'm going to do an unfold again. And again, not worrying that this is at an angle, but we have quite nice even UVs around this. Even down to the bottom we do. There is a little bit of distortion on there. It's quite a complex object, but you know, we have a much better job than would be done through something like cylindrical unwrapping. In fact, let's just have a look at cylindrical unwrapping. So let's duplicate this. Let's just make a copy of this. And what I'll do is let's just grab this face, or set of faces. So I'll just apply a cylindrical unwrap to this. Now it may look like the UVs or the UV layout is much neater there, and it does look really nice around the side there, but if I go underneath this, we start getting a lot of distortion coming through to this part at the bottom here. And what I'd need to do is actually going with my UVs, let's see if this is a bottom, and start scaling these in, and start scaling these ones in. Start playing around quite a bit more. We're actually causing more problems. So actually, just going in, I'll do it on this one as well. Going in and doing unfolding that. Does a pretty good job of it. Okay. So that's the unfold tool. And you can use it in a lot of different ways. Let's just go in on something else, just to show you what a good job this can do. I have another example here. Just got this pipe. And again, what I will do is I'll duplicate this. I will just remove this, and let's hide this as well. Oops. So we have this here. Again, I need to give this some help. If I was to try and do the UV purely or the unfold purely on this, it's actually going to come up and say there's non-manifold geometry on that. I'm going to cancel that. It won't work, essentially. So let's go in and let's just break out, get this edge here. Let's just get this edge here, and let's just cut those. And then what I'll do, and in fact, I'm just going to isolate this, Control 1. And I'm just going to go in. And in fact, this has quite a lot of seams on it already. We've talked about this before, that these thick white lines are our seams. So I'm just going to reset this. I'm just going to put a planar map on this. On the thickest side generally is where I put the planar map. And this is just going to reset the UVs, or kind of flatten them down, get rid of all the seams on this. So this isn't my UV layout, but just to get back to a certain state. So I've still got my edges selected. Let's shift right click and let's cut. Don't think I actually cut those. Shift right click and let's cut those. And then I'm going to grab that edge there. And hopefully I'm selecting the right edge here. Shift double click to go between all those edges. Just make sure I have that. Shift right click and let's do a cut. And if I now grab all of these UVs, I'm going to do an unfold. Okay. And it needs to have some work done on the cap ends. But actually, as an initial UV layout, you can see pretty good. Okay. So that's the unfold. Really, really useful tool, and one that you'll probably use all the time within your unwrapping. But the main thing to note about it is that you do need to give it some help. It can't perform magic on your UV layout. So actually giving it some cuts, some seams to work with first of all, to allow that to unfold the mesh properly.